So in this phase, we talk about being a content subject matter expert. I recommend that you post a couple times or more a week and that you're demonstrating your subject matter expertise. You're doing that with education research, by doing Google searches, by setting up news notifications, by trying to be a thought leader in your desired employment. So there's three basic reasons why you should post regularly when you're looking for a job. It establishes your credibility, it builds brand, and it shows that you're an expert. And so content-wise, it's important to have the reason why on the top. And so you always want to start with why before you tell the story or the research. That's what gets people to read on. They want to know why they should read on. You should also space out the content that you type in to let their eyes breathe. If it looks like a book, they usually don't read it. So make it easy to read. The body should be simple, short sentences, not long paragraphs. So sharing, you can post something personal, like a personal achievement. People love that on LinkedIn. You can share something light, maybe an observation that you had while you were at the park yesterday, or something polarizing. But the stuff that really works is informing, like you curate something from Google or the mainstream and repost it. Or you talk about new technology or technology breakthroughs. And then I like to teach people how to do things to help them solve maybe their pain points. That's the kind of content that gets read on LinkedIn. So take a position, share your opinion, tell them what you would have done or should have done, and ask them what they did. I like ending most of my posts with a question at the end, just to drive engagement back. Don't be afraid to talk about a chapter in your life, high school, college, early work careers. You can share fails. You can share growth opportunities. You can share lessons you've learned, even quirky stories. And that's because people don't want to just be educated in research. Sometimes they just want to get to know you, what kind of person you are. So you're representing a brand and an image out there that may gain some respect from a potential recruiter or hiring manager. So always look for a unique angle, map it out before you click the button, have spacing and formatting, just focus on one big message, not a whole bunch of them, and always invite others to engage by asking for their comments. Now, the power of LinkedIn is super powerful, and I'm going to break out into LinkedIn in a second and show you how to do content properly. If you have 1,000 first-degree connections, and let me start by saying, if you have less than 500, send a bunch of connection requests to your friends, family, former coworkers, and get it above 500, because when somebody visits your LinkedIn profile, it shows them how many connections you have until you hit 500. Then it says 500 plus connections. I've got 19,000. You would never know it because it doesn't show you that. It just says Dave has 500 plus connections. But let's say you get your network to 1,000. That means that your content and your engagement can go to 400,000 people. And that's because if a first-degree connection comments on one of my posts, or I comment on one of their posts, then it's exposed to all of their first degree, which would be my second degree. And if any of them comment, and it goes to 1.6 million people could see my posts and get to those third degree as well. We're going to go to my home page, and you'll see right at the top it says start a post. So when I start a post, you'll notice I can just start typing something. I can use emojis right here. I can add media, which would be a video or a picture. Close that down. I can create an event. I can celebrate an occasion. Like I can give kudos to somebody. I can welcome a new team member. So there's a lot of ways to post. And then there's these 3 buttons. If I select those 3 buttons, I get these 4 additional categories. I can find an expert and ask my network to direct me to somebody. I can add a document like a PowerPoint or a Word. I can create a poll, or I can say that I'm hiring if you happen to be hiring. Here's how a poll would look like. You ask a simple question, and then you give it answers here, and then you post that poll up. And polls, for some reason, are working really well on LinkedIn right now, so don't hesitate to do that. Now, one other thing you can do is you can go to Google and you can type in cybersecurity, and I'm going to say cybersecurity trends, and I'm going to search for it. And then I'm going to look for a non-sponsored piece of content. So here's the top 10 cybersecurity trends, and I'm going to click on it. And then I'm simply going to copy what's in my bar up here, copy. And I'm going to go back to LinkedIn. I'm going to paste it. And notice what happens is it creates a preview for my viewers. Top 10 cybersecurity trends. Now, the important thing is, remember, we want to post something. We want to start with why should you read this? And then my observation. And then I'm going to add my hashtags. Cybersecurity. That was one of the ones I used on my profile. And then I'm going to post it. So that's how you curate stuff from things like Google. You can also go to YouTube, and this happens to be my YouTube channel. Feel free to subscribe, by the way. But I can go to any video. Here's a recent interview I did that I showed you earlier.
With the environment.
And I can copy this. Again, I can go back to, so maybe you can find something on YouTube about cybersecurity and an interview or a podcast. Again, if I paste this in there, then what they get is they get a preview of it down below. And so those are a couple different exciting ways to post content. Going back to the presentation now, trying not to run over time. Okay. So we already went through this, demonstrating how big the network is. And finally, we're going to engage. And this is simple. So you got to be consistent. You got to have a rhythm. You know, a strong, regular, repeated plan and pattern of movement. And so what I recommend is a minimum of 30 minutes a day, especially if you're job searching, you know, or 2.5 hours a week if you want to break it up and do an hour today, hour tomorrow, and a half hour on the third day. But it really takes a considered effort to do all of the motions that I talked about. So one of you isn't on mute, by the way. If you could mute, I'd appreciate it. So we're going to every day check our notifications. We're going to check for job search updates. We're going to post something, and then we're going to do 5 minutes of engagement with those recruiters and hiring managers. And then at the end of the day, you're going to check your notifications, and you're going to respond to all activity. Before I go there, let me just show you what I'm talking about. So notifications are a beautiful thing, as I mentioned earlier. If I go back to my LinkedIn profile page, you'll notice here's my bell up here. This, oh, by the way, here's the people that are asking me. I'm going to ignore that. And I'm guessing you guys are in the class right here, so I'll accept you later. But I go into my notifications, and then I look for the people that I'm following and stuff that they've put on LinkedIn. And so here's a guy commenting on one of my posts. Here's somebody that found my contribution insightful. Here's somebody that has a birthday. I'll probably say happy birthday to him. Here's somebody that mentioned me in a comment. Here's a post that I did that only 105 people have seen so far. So it's encouraging that I do something more to get more people to see it. Here's a person that followed me and we're not connected. And then so on and so on. So I go through these notifications on a daily basis, and I look for one of those recruiters or one of those hiring managers engaging with my content. And so I'm just going to go to this one. And what you'll notice is this is a post where somebody called me out for being on a podcast. And there's a lot of people here. And some of those might be the sphere of influence. And so what I'll do sometimes is just hover over their name or go visit their profile and see if it's somebody that, I should be connected to. That drives engagement. And so the other thing you want to do is always reply. Like, let's say I made a comment here and they replied. I try and keep the conversation going and I reply again. If I can't keep the conversation going, I like the comment that they made. Again, it shows that I'm engaging with them and I'm engaging with their content. Now, this guy right here is somebody of interest. Where did he go? I saw him. VP of sales at Push Press. I want to sell him sales training. So he engaged with that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to follow. I'm going to ring his bell. And I'm going to go down here and I'm going to engage with his content. I am not sending a connection request, but I'm simply engaging with his content. And then I'm going to check my content as another strategy. And I just go over here to me, posts and activity. And here's the things that I've posted recently. And I'm going to look for who's commented on this post and are they of somebody of interest that I want to engage with. In this case, I'm going to like what Wally says. And I'm going to come back later and actually comment on this guy because he's a potential client. So now I've got two-way engagement going. I'm engaging with their content. They're engaging with my content. And all of that can be found in notifications daily. Okay, we are about to wrap up. I won't ask you to do this now, but before you start your LinkedIn profile makeover, there's a way to see your LinkedIn score. You just type into your internet search bar, linkedin.com/sales/SSI, and it's going to give you what your score is. Then you're going to go do your profile makeover and start engaging and doing content. And then a month from now, come back and check your score and see how well you're doing on LinkedIn. It gives you 4 different categories to look at. And then it also breaks down those categories. Now you'll see a bunch of different numbers like top 17%, top 30%. This is the industry that you're in, and this is your network. But the real score you want to look at is the one in the round circle. So this guy's score is lousy. Anything below 60 means you're not doing the right things. And so that's it for the workshop. I hope you enjoyed it. Tell a friend. I really think this is going to help you on your journey to finding your next best career. Thanks all, and bye.